Chris, on your transmitter, can you turn on your 32-bit your recording?
How do I do that?
Turn on your mic on. So you get audio where you go now.
It's good to go. All right, let's set it. I'm about to press live on Facebook, and we're gonna start this thing. Webcam, select a media source. Oh dang, that's actually supposed to be. So where am I supposed to put the Yeti mic at then? That's the question.
Just put it underneath.
Like right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be fine.
Cool.
Chris, you want me to go live now?
Oh, so now we're starting? All right.
Do you want me to end it?
Yeah, end it. Because I'm trying to figure out this Facebook. How do I start it? Start screen share.
Click on your screen.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm good here.
Yep.
I'm not trying to do screen share.
Create live video. No, you're not trying to create live video. Go to like your story, right?
Go to where?
Webcam.
Oh,
Select video source. Webcam.
Okay. So all this is configured.
Start screen.
Because it's taking.
Oh, it's screen sharing.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Expand video.
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
You're using your regular webcam for this
Yeah.
Facebook, right? Is it just not allowing you to do it?
Yeah, it's not letting me click
going
it.
Back to.
But that's what we're seeing, though.
Oh, connect video. You want go live.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, click the button. Click
Oh,
the
I
button,
gotta.
Chris.
Oh, I gotta put a title. Okay. Okay. All right, now I can.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Are y'all ready?
Yep.
Somebody's gonna turn my phone on.
Yeah, you gotta turn your phone on, brother.
It's 0623, I believe.
0623.
Yep.
All right.
All right, I'm about to press live on Facebook. We're going live on Facebook now.
You let me know whenever you're. Oh, sorry. It's not all the way in.
All right. Cool. We're live on Facebook. All right. Now we're just waiting to go live on Instagrams. We're already live on YouTube. All right. Y'all ready? 2, 1. Oh, so I start now?
Yeah, I'm starting now.
All right, what's up, y'all? It's Chris A. Williams, owner, investor, and entrepreneur, coming to you live, just like I said I was, today at 6 p.m. So I'm here to answer all the questions that you all asked me. You all asked around 20 questions, I'll say. So I'm going to answer these questions here. And if you have a question, leave them in the chat. Also, I'm testing a new mic right now. So if audio is good, send a thumbs up in the chat and just let me know. Got some people joining. So let's kick it off. You saw what? Okay, gotcha. All right, let's move this. All right. A little technical difficulties, y'all. It's all good, though, you know? It's all good. All right, let's set this up like that. Cool. All right.
Now we're live.
We're good. We're
No,
good
we're
now.
good. We're
Let's
so
do
good.
it.
All right. So people want to know, what is the hardest part transitioning from being a real estate agent to an investor?
The hardest part about transitioning from being a real estate agent to an investor, I'll say you just have to think bigger. As a real estate agent, a lot of times you're just thinking about your commission and, okay, how can I close the next home and how can I get my next commission check? But as an investor, you got to get a lot more creative and think of different ways to be able to appease your clients. So like a lot of times when I'm in a meeting or such, like a listing appointment with the seller, instead of just focusing on, hey, I'm gonna list your house and, you know, go that route, I'll also see, all right, what's a different option? Can I do an assignment? Can I do an ovation? Can I buy it, creative financing for myself? So I think the biggest benefit of it is just being able to have multiple options that I offer clients.
And how did you get into real estate?
How did I get into real estate? I was broke. You know, for real, like I didn't have any money and there wasn't many people that were hiring, I would say. There wasn't many people that were hiring people that didn't have a college degree and didn't have a lot of corporate experience. So real estate agent, I got inspired from it from a podcast I was listening to all the time at the time. So I was like, yeah, let me try my hand at this. And I was actually selling shoes at Foot Locker at the time. And I was like, all right, cool. If I can sell shoes, I can sell houses, no question. So that's how I got started in real estate. And that was actually almost 5 years ago. At the end of the month, it'll be 5 years.
Yes.
So make sure y'all leave questions in the chat too. If y'all have questions that you want to ask, I'm going down a list of like 20 questions that you guys asked previously, but I'm also answering questions in the chat too. So yeah.
And how would you describe studying and testing for your real estate license exam for those looking to start?
Oh, that's a great question. The exam was mad hard. I will say that. Like they make the exam way more difficult than what it should be, to be honest with you. I'm a person, I don't like to sit in a class for a long time, you know. So how I learned was just by watching a bunch of YouTube videos. And that's really how I studied. Because at the time I was working at Enterprise cleaning out cars. So when I was cleaning cars, I would just watch the videos and hear the Q&As, answers and things like that. Let's see. Maybe scroll up, see if anybody asks anything.
Tell them to comment the question just to make sure that it's working.
Yeah. Okay, somebody asked a question in here because we want to make sure. Somebody said the audio is off. Is the audio working?
Yeah, it should be. I just turned it up. Julian said that it was.
He said turn the audio on.
He said turn it up.
All right, turn it up.
I already did.
Can y'all hear me? I don't know. Nobody said anything. I don't know if they can hear me. Let's just proceed as it. I hope they can hear me. All right, cool. Hey, this audio is good. All right, let's roll.
All right, we're rolling.
Okay.
All right. What's the key to a balanced, healthy lifestyle, mental and physical?
That's a great question. I don't believe in balance, to be honest with you. And the reason I don't believe in balance is just if you look at all the most successful people, they've had so many periods in their life where they haven't been balanced, where they've had to dedicate themselves and go all in on a specific thing to get better. So that's why I just don't really believe in balance. But I think there's come stages in it. There's stages where you should be more balanced. Like if you just have a newborn, you just have a family, things like that, you definitely want to be a bit more balanced versus, when you're younger, especially if you're young and single, just go all in for real. Like forget balance.
All right. What about I'm turning 16 years old this month. What should I do to start my real estate career? So what about for like younger, like if you're in your teenage years and thinking about real estate?
Because I have these mics, so I wonder if they can hear you. So I'm gonna probably repeat your question. Yeah. Okay. So the question was for somebody who's turning 16 years old. What was the question? So somebody who's turning 16 years old.
16, wanting to get into real estate.
Okay.
How do they prepare?
So somebody 16 years old and they want to get started in real estate. So you got to be 18 to be a real estate agent. And I believe you have to be 18 to get like your LLC if you want to do real estate investing. So what I would do if I was 16 is I would start JVing, joint venturing with like other people who have been doing real estate and just really focus on learning. The biggest benefit that you have when you're young is that you don't really need any money. You just need skills and you need knowledge. But I think it's cool to sacrifice money in the short term for long-term gain, which is skills and knowledge that you're going to build from being under somebody and being trained under somebody.
And so someone asked, where did you take a real estate course? And repeat the question because they can't hear me.
Yeah. So the question was, where did I take the real estate course? I took it online through the ceshop.com. If you guys want a link for that, I can send you a link for that and you can get a good discount on it too. But so when you're taking the real estate course, you're either going to do it online or you're going to do it in person. And for me, in person just wasn't going to work. Because like I said earlier, the classes are like 8 hours long. And I know for sure I'm not sitting in an 8-hour-long class. I could barely sit in an hour-long class in school as is. So online, you can do it at your own pace. That's a good and a bad thing. For me, it was a good thing because I was working, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the time. So I didn't really have much time to do it except, when I got off of work. So, yeah.
All Right. So, how do you describe study? We already talked about studying and testing for
Scroll up
licensing.
in. Somebody said we can't hear her.
That's me.
Okay.
You can't hear me.
All right. Cool.
You're good. Right. How do they get over the fear of leaving corporate life to get into real estate? That's the question.
The question was, how do you get over the fear of leaving corporate life to pursue a career in real estate? That's a great question. I know so many people are struggling with the same thing. Honestly, I would say you just got to really know what your why is. And once you know what your why is, just dive all in. A lot of people kind of have the illusion that corporate life has some security. And I'm here to say that it doesn't have security, because your boss, any single day, they can wake up and decide they don't want you around. And then what? Okay, cool. You have a 401k, but you take it out, you're getting tax heavy on it. And there's just a lot of your cap. You have a lot of your growth can be stunted in a corporate setting versus a career like entrepreneurship period, or a career like real estate. You can grow to however big that you want to get it. And much to people's contrary opinion, that they say real estate isn't stable, it actually is very stable. It can be a very consistent business if you build it the right way. And that's kind of what I teach my agents how to do, is building up their KPIs, building up their metrics, building up their systems, so they actually do have a very predictable business. And at least for me, I know that definitely happened in my business. I knew I could do at least 2 homes a month pretty much in my sleep without having to do anything else. So, that's just a way.
How did you start with real estate investing, and what is the financial incentives behind it?
How did I start with real estate investing, and what is the financial incentives behind it? That's a great question. So how I started a lot later than what I wanted to. I started last year was when I bought my first rental property. So how many people start when they start with real estate investing is they do wholesale or assignment first, then they'll take the funds from that to do a flip, and then they'll take the funds from that flip, then they'll buy rental properties or multifamily or things like that. I kind of reverse engineered that. I skipped that. I said, I don't want to do an assignment. I don't want to do a flip, but I do want to buy rental properties for passive income. So my very first investment property was actually the house that was right beside me. I brought it from my neighbors, and that's a rental that cash flows around $1,000 a month for me. That's how I started. Okay, let me answer the second part, is what is the financial incentive behind it? There's a lot of benefits, I'll say, when it comes to real estate investing. Of course, you have your cash flow, which I really like. I know you guys see me like going on different trips and doing these different things. That is due to the cash flow from my rental properties. I rarely ever have to touch the money that I do make. I'll just decide, hey, I don't want to take profits from my rental properties this month, and I just want to spend it on something else. All right, cool. And another benefit is there's a lot of tax benefits for purchasing real estate. So I'm actually supposed to close on the house tomorrow. Don't know what's happening with that. There's a little stuff behind the scenes when it comes to that. But if I can close on that, the reason I'm buying that property is because I'm gonna have to write a hefty check to Uncle Sam, and instead of writing that to Uncle Sam, I can use that purchase to offset it on my taxes.
There's another question. People are asking, what is the best way to build your portfolio, like real estate portfolio?
What is the best way to build the portfolio is the question asked. What I would recommend is, I think it just depends on what level you're at, to be honest with you. Like, I think if you're brand new and you're looking to get your first property, you can do that without even scaling, without bringing in a team, anything like that. All it takes is you just got to go around, look for distressed properties. And when I say distressed properties, I say refer to some of the videos I have on my YouTube. I give details on what a distressed property is, but just to kind of give a little quick summary here, you want to look for properties that look trash, basically, like a house that you would never want to live in. You wouldn't want anybody that you love to live in. This is the perfect property for a real estate investment, and there's so many different ways with it. Me preferably, I like having rental properties, so I like keeping them. But if you want, like, quick money, make money fast, then probably flipping the property might be your best bet. Somebody asked a question here.
Does having contractor's license benefit in this business?
Does having a contractor's license benefit in your business? That is a great question. I personally do not think so. And that is because I'm not going to do any of the work myself. And the reason I'm not going to do any of the work myself is because it's going to take way too much time to do any work. Yeah, I could save money on labor costs, but is it really worth it at the end of the day? At least to me, no. because I'm looking for the next project. I'm looking for other things that make money. I would rather, pay my contractor 50,000 or whatever it is, and have them do it, and I can, get my time back. Time, at least for me, is the most valuable thing. So I think, to answer that question, it depends on your level too, and like what you plan on doing. If you plan on that being the one property that you do that year, then it may be beneficial to get your contractor's license to do it. Or, little sidebar also too, if you're like pulling permits and things like that, it could actually be beneficial to do it, especially if your contractors, the main ones you use, aren't licensed.
Somebody else asked, do you or assets manage rental properties for investors?
Do me or assets manage rental properties for investors? That is a great question. I personally do not property manage. I'm not even going to do my own houses that I own. I don't property manage those. But we are working toward assets as a whole. We're working to provide different solutions for investors, homeowners, as far as the property management side. So details on that will be coming out. I don't know. It'll be coming out soon. So yeah.
All right. Isaiah asked, do you have your own lead gen for assets? And what marketing strategy would you say is the most ROI?
Great question. Okay, do I have my own lead gen for assets? Yes, the real estate team does. We definitely have our own lead gen. A lot of our stuff has been organic, social media, but we're looking to invest in some different other opportunities also too, just to get some more ROI when it comes to that. And what marketing strategy would you say is the most ROI? Really, I would say organic social media, 100%. Like, even before, I had the marketing team and, the videographers and all that, I had a great ROI there, because I would just, at least my strategy, I was go to homes, record them, share them, and leads would come in that way. So I think that is the highest ROI, but it's the hardest to do, to be honest with you, because it's so oversaturated. Literally everybody does social media to get leads. So you have to be very specific, and you have to be very knowledgeable in what you're doing with it, because everybody is doing the same exact thing as you are.
Oh, that's good. Somebody asked, do you have any paid lead sources at all, or is it just social media?
Yeah. So I would say let's separate the businesses a little bit. Okay, so the question was, do I have any paid lead sources, or is it all just social media? So to answer that question, I would separate the businesses a little bit. When it comes to assets real estate team, yes, we have paid lead sources. We definitely have paid lead sources, but we're also heavy on the organic social media side too. When it comes to the real estate investing business, though, that's just straight organic, pretty much word of mouth referrals. I have not invested a single dime when it comes to lead sources. Last year I invested about $50,000 into mentorship when it came to the investing side, though, but the ROI there was great. So definitely, I plan on doing that again this year to up that business up even more.
And another one, switching gears a little bit, but what is the most life-changing habit you've implemented?
The most life-changing habit I've implemented. Whoever asked that is a great question. So to answer that, the most life-changing habit I've implemented has just been getting up early. Me personally, I'm not a morning person at all. Like, you can ask my parents. Like, when I used to be at their house, I used to wake up like 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m. sometimes, stay up on the game all night. But I wasn't productive that way. So it was hard to transition, especially as I got older. Because as you get older, your body gets weaker. Your back be hurting. I'm like 25, but I feel like 45 sometimes. So my back is hurting, my knees are hurting when I'm waking up. But you just got to do it, and it's super hard at first. Like, when I first started waking up at 5 a.m., it felt like hell the first week. But you just do it, and then you do it for about a month. You get used to it, and it gets to a point where it's like, all right, cool. Like, if you sleep in, like, when I sleep in now, my sleep in is like 6:30 for the most part. But it's just so much productive getting up earlier, because it's a lot quieter. Your body feels more rejuvenated. There's just so many benefits for waking up early. So I would say that is the one habit that's helped me out tremendously.
All right, books, podcasts, YouTube recommendations for someone interested in real estate investing.
Books, podcasts, YouTube recommendations for somebody interested in real estate investing. All right, so let's start with the YouTube. So first thing on YouTube, if you're interested in real estate investing, anything real estate, you gotta subscribe to I Am Chris A. Williams on YouTube. Like, come on now. Like that's where it starts out. Now, if we're talking about podcasts, I would say one of my favorite podcasts is Creative Real Estate with Pace Morby. Shout out to Pace, one of my mentors in the I'm in his mastermind. Also learned a ton of information from there. Another solo plug too. Let's Talk Assets podcast. I know we haven't been as consistent as we should be, but we definitely got a lot of great stuff up on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of that too. Real Estate Rock Stars, that was a good one in which I started when I first started, and it's cool because that was like a full circle moment, to be honest with you, because I was just on there a couple months ago. But Real Estate Rock Stars is the number one podcast for real estate people in the nation, really.
What about like personal development stuff?
Personal development. I'm probably the wrong person to ask about personal development. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think you just do, like, that's my thing. You just gotta do stuff at the end of the day. I think people, they hone in too much on like, oh, let me read this mindset book, let me do these manifestations, these affirmations. No, just do at the end. Like, I don't even have a morning routine. I just do. So yeah.
Okay. If you were to begin your career as a new agent once more, what would you do differently?
Oh, they're asking questions up here too. I didn't even know you could ask questions on Facebook. But okay, let me answer your question first. All right, what was your question?
The question was, if you were to begin your career as a new agent one more time, what would you do different?
If I was to begin my career as a new agent one more time, what I would do is, okay, so before I answer that, let me preface it. My first year in real estate, I only sold 2 houses. 2 houses the entire year. I started in March and I sold one in August and I sold one in November. And the reason why I only sold 2 houses my first year is because I was working hard, but I wasn't working smart. I wasn't doing the things in which I should have done to really be productive. And a lot of that was my fault, to be honest with you. You know, I was just kind of being hard-headed, living in ego and things like that, and thinking, okay, I'm a top salesperson at Foot Locker. I should obviously be a top, real estate person selling houses, right? They're not that much different. That's how I thought at the time. So if I had to go back my first year, I would say, just shutting up and sitting down and like really pouring into training, mentorship, and not thinking that hard work can outwork, like it can beat everybody, because that's not always the case, especially when people have so many more resources, they have so many more advantages over you. Hard work isn't going to beat that. So the question from Facebook was, I definitely heard of you and heard you're the youngest, I don't know what that means, youngest something in the real estate business. What advice do you have for me at 19 to get in the game and maybe where you are one day? All right, cool. So question or advice I would give to somebody who's 19 and looking to get started in real estate is, like I said earlier, just do, like, I would actually start with working hard, to be honest with you, like showing up, always being there. I always say the best ability is availability. Remember that the best ability is availability. So if you just keep on showing up, even if you're just trash, like if you have no skills whatsoever, if you just keep on showing up, people are gonna want to rock out with you. They're gonna want to pour into you. They're gonna want to, give you training, offer you different things, because a lot of people just they don't even show up. They just expect things. So if you can do that, I think that'll put you in a great position. No, it was just a question.
All right, so I asked, who was your first mentor?
Who was my first mentor? My first mentor in real estate is my friend Amanda Atkins. Shout out to Amanda. She's great. That a huge reason why I was able to go from that, 2 deals. Like I said, my first year I did 2 deals, and the next year I did 24. A huge reason why I was able to do that was because, the training and mentorship that Amanda did offer me. Like I said, I was just working hard, but I was doing the wrong thing. She was like, okay, I see you working hard, but how about you do this instead of that? And it was like, oh, like a light bulb went off. So that's how my conversion just went up like tremendously. And, it was just up from there. So she taught me a lot about how to work with traditional clients, buyers specifically, and I became really good at converting them. So yeah, shout out to Amanda. I wouldn't be here without her.
Yes. Okay, buying a home with a VA loan.
Okay, so the question is buying a home with a VA loan. That's so vast. I'm gonna try to narrow it down a little bit. So when you're a VA loan is a lot of people think Veterans United and a VA loan are like the same thing. They're actually two completely different things. So you guys want to know that for my military people that are in here. So a VA loan, you have access to it pretty much anytime you've been in the military. If you've been in for a couple months, doesn't matter your rank or anything like that. And the biggest benefit of a VA loan is zero down payment, so you don't have to worry about bringing up a down payment. And also with our VA loans, that's how we're usually able to get them huge deals. Like if you've seen our posts, like not just me, but my agents and such, where we get clients, $50,000 at closing, or they get paid to buy their house. A lot of times that comes through VA loans and the many benefits of having a VA loan. So if you're interested in a VA loan, you can just shoot me a DM and I'll give you some further information on that also. Yeah, or assets. Yes, DM assets at Assets Real Estate Team. Yes, correct. Don't DM me most of the time because DMs me. Yeah, and we got a video of VA loans coming out soon. They're telling me what to say in the background. So if there's a little pauses because of that.
Someone said I've been trying to reach out to you in the past. Tell her that you have lots of DMs, but
okay. Somebody said I've been trying to reach out in the past. All right, so there's a lot of DMs, so a lot of times I don't always necessarily check them, or they get lost in the shuffle. So the quickest way to reach me, especially if you have business related questions, is just shoot me an email. Yeah, that's the quickest way to reach me.
What's your email?
My email is, you can email me at chris@iamchrisawilliams.com. Please don't forget the A. So many people forget the A and they're like, hey, I sent you something. Well, you didn't put the A in there. Remember, it's I am Chris A. Williams, not I am Chris Williams.
All right, so yes, when buying a home, what do you really need? Or when buying a home, do you really need 2 years of proof of income, or does cash talk?
Okay, all right. So when buying a home, do you really need 2 years of income, or does cash talk? That's situational, again, to be honest with you. So if you are self-employed per se, then yeah, you're gonna need your 2 years. But there's ways around it. Like when I bought my first house, I actually didn't have 2 years. I had 1 whole year because I had made a lot of money that 1 year. But my first year, I mean, I guess technically it's 2 years. My first year was like $12,000, so I only sold 2 houses. So that's not any money to qualify. But because my second year was so much more significant, then they averaged out to be the 2 years. So that was for me personally. I think it's all about getting with a great lender who can provide different resources and opportunities for you. Like that happened for me. Now when it comes to cash talks, yes, cash does talk. You don't always need a mortgage to purchase a house, but a lot of people do need mortgages because not that many people have that much cash just sitting around. So if you do have a ton of cash sitting around, yeah, that cash definitely talks. So I think it's all situational, to be honest with you.
If you had a large sum of money, how would you invest it in real estate for a guaranteed return?
If I had a large sum of money, how would I invest it into real estate for a guaranteed return? All right. So first of all, I want to give a preference that nothing is guaranteed in real estate. There's always a risk when it comes to investing. So I want people to know that yeah, there's always going to be risk involved. But let's say the most stable. For me personally, at this point in my life, what I like is just investing in just different single family residential rental properties. I know a lot of people who like to get into multifamilies and even apartments and things like that. I think those are a safe bet too. But me personally, I just like the single family residential properties. Kind of how I do mine too is I don't have them as traditional rentals. I quote unquote sell them under seller finance, so I'm able to get a down payment for them, and also I'm able to get some great cash flow coming in per month for the next 30 years.
Do you have any preferences on share insights on location?
Yeah.
In this area specifically.
Okay, so insights on locations in the area. I would say pick a up and coming area. So when I first started, buying other properties, or even when I bought my first house, I made sure to invest in areas that were more up and coming. So like I'm looking for areas or neighborhoods that have like older homes and things like that, where my home may be like the newest one, like the most renovated one. I like that because that means there's upside there. Usually when one home gets renovated, there's going to be another one that comes in, which is going to in turn increase my property value, because my value is probably going to be the lowest it is at that point, just because the overall neighborhood. So like I'm buying one next month that is in a very newer development. It's actually in Portsmouth. I didn't want to invest in Portsmouth at first, but with the casino and it being on the come up, it's like why not? You know, at this point.
Someone asked, would you recommend brand new agents to wholesale?
Would you recommend brand new agents to wholesale? Okay, great question. With the recent law, especially in Virginia, I think if you do more than 2 wholesale deals, you do have to be licensed. Now, for a brand new agent, and kind of what I tell agents on my team, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it when you're brand new, because when you're brand new, there's real estate is so vast. There's so many different things that are happening in real estate, so many things that you do need to know. It can be hard to really focus on one specific thing. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend focusing on wholesale. I would recommend focusing on everything it takes to be a great agent and to be able to provide value for clients and such. And once you know everything it takes to be a great agent, it's very easy to transition into an investor. That's the path that I took. Is, you know, I don't feel like you ever master a skill 100%, but I was very good at being a real estate agent where I could literally do it with my eyes closed. Like, you know, if my friends are in here, I don't know if they are, but my friends could vouch for this. Like, we would go out and I would be like lit. I would be lit. This is the best word for it. You know, 2 a.m. and I'll be able to have a full conversation about real estate and exactly what they need to do in real estate for the best return for them, because I knew it just like the back of my hand. So I would say that's really the smartest way.
Moving into like creative work. So someone asked, do you have a platform you like using best? Like someone from Fiverr. I definitely need to find a video editor.
Okay, so someone's asking for like a
Like,
video editor, things like that.
yeah, like who do you use for like video? Like,
Yeah. So when it comes to like video editors and things like that, I use my guy Long, of course. He's looking at me and smiling. He wants a shout out. All right, yeah, I'll get you. What's your Instagram? What's your Instagram?
Is Jet Winded.
Okay, at Jet Winded is. So if you guys who are asking about all the production, both on my page and both on Assets, it is because of the guy at Jet Winded. So give him a follow, and if you reach out to him, let me know so I can get a little affiliate from that. You know, a little percentage of that cake. You know, but I would say, you know, I think people do look on Fiverr, Upwork, things like that because it is cheaper. But a lot of times, the cheaper you go, the more work you'll have to do behind it. So I think you just really got to vet your person if you're looking for one of those, or regardless, just vet anybody that you're dealing with. You don't want to be the first person that they work with. I would say that's all. I've been there plenty of times where I'm the first person somebody, you know, has ever worked with, and every single time I regret it.
Let me ask a question then. This is for someone that is starting a company, I guess.
Okay.
You are being filmed now professionally about a good portion of your time.
Okay.
What is it like? Because people think you see the cameras, you're instantly ready. What is it really like being filmed for an obscene amount compared to not being filmed, you know, by yourself regularly to
How's
now
the
someone that's
transition?
documenting their journey?
Okay.
How
you
different?
reshare the question.
All right, so I don't think y'all were able to hear that, but so his question was basically because he said he's starting a company and he is saying that I am filmed for a long amount of time and a bunch of times, like I'm on camera all the time. So basically,
How's
how?
that transition now? 'Cause
Okay.
you went from filming yourself to
Yeah.
now someone filming you
Okay.
all the
So
time.
transitioning from filming
Yes.
myself to somebody filming me.
How's it changed you, or
Uh-huh.
how much have you had to adapt to being filmed all the time?
Yeah, and how it's changed me and how I've had to adapt to being filmed all the time. I mean, personally, I don't know if you guys know, but I hate being on camera. I hate being filmed. What do you say?
As you be on
Yeah,
camera.
exactly. As I'm on live. But it's needed, especially at this time and, you know, day and this age. Like everybody's always on their phone. They're always scrolling. So you got to compete for the scroll. And as much as I don't like film, I understand how needed it is. So I just do it anyways. And I would say you kind of get used to it. As you know, my videographer can attest, I mess up all the time on camera, you know, it's just like that. Like, but you just gotta keep on doing it, just shoot your retakes, and you know, it is what it is. Just put things out. Remember to give value to your audience, and you know, people rock with the stuff. And especially when people start, you know, liking your stuff and you hear stories of people finding your stuff, like they found value from it, they found an inspiration or whatever, it just makes me actually want to put it out more. So I will say, like, even though I don't like putting out stuff, I don't like being on camera. For real, if it was up to me, you know, I would be on an island somewhere. I want to be on no socials, nothing like that. But that's not the life that we live in, right? So being that that's the life, being that this stuff is needed, the biggest reason why I do it is because of you guys, and you finding value from it and your support and such. So all of that means a lot.
Right, someone asked, how do I learn how to flip houses? Is business credit required or preferred?
Oh, great question. Okay, so how do you learn how the person asked, how do I learn how to flip houses, and is business credit preferred or required? All right, so let's start that back to front. So business credit is not required to flip houses. And even an LLC, I don't believe is required. Like you can flip under your personal name. I would not recommend that. I don't think that's smart, just for liability reasons and also tax reasons. It's not that smart to do that. Business credit is not required either. My last flip, I did not do any business credit. I just funded that cash out of my pocket. But I think if you are just starting, you're newer and such, you definitely should get business credit. I know plenty of investors who they use that as their start to start doing bigger projects was through business credit, especially like you get an Amex, like an unlimited card. Okay, cool. Right. So you got unlimited amount of access to capital that you have, but also whenever you're spending money on materials, resources, even paying your contractors, you can put that on the card and you can get points from that. And you can use those points for whatever you want. So like I know like I mentioned, a lot of you guys see me on vacations. A lot of you all have seen me on flights, but did you know that most of my flights, they're paid for by the points from my credit cards, or through business credit and such. So I'm a big proponent of that, of business credit. Now I think the first part of that question was, how do you flip houses? Really is simple. I say it starts with I'll give a simple explanation up here for timing purposes. But if you guys want a more detailed explanation on how to flip houses, go to my YouTube at I am Chris A. Williams and check out those videos, because I give more detailed versions. But simply put, how to flip houses is you want to find a distressed property, get that distressed property, put it under contract with the seller. Before you put under contract, you want to run your numbers, check your MAO, which is max allowable offer, which is going to be based on the ARV, which is the after repair value, the holding costs, closing costs, commissions, all of those things. You're going to put under contract. Then hopefully you do have contractors that you know before. But if you don't have any contractors, all you got to do is you could go to like Home Depot and find things like that. But what I like to do is I like to ask my network if they have any contractors. Or what I would do is I would go to a job site. So whether that's a new construction or whether that's a home that's already being worked on, that's being flipped, and see their actual work that they have. And then, I will rock out with them. I'll say, hey, I want to bring you on a job. Do you have capacity? Do you have a crew? So on and so on. So, all right, so cool. So once you have your contractor, they're going to start the work, they're going to flip it, and you find a great realtor to partner with so they can sell it once the flip is done, and it'll, put it on market, and you'll collect your cash when it sells. I know that was like super quick. There's a lot more to it, of course. But check out my other videos on YouTube and for a more detailed explanation. All right, somebody asked a question here is,
Well, Chris, guess what?
what?
I think everyone in the chat can now hear me.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I believe if you guys can hear me, let me know. But I now have a second.
All right, so we got a second mic in the chat now. So if you guys can hear him, put a thumbs up.
So
I
you
guess.
guys can actually hear.
Yeah.
Ask the questions.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. All right. So somebody asked, how much do you think it takes to get started? How much do you think it takes to get started owning your first rental property? Okay, realistically, 25K or 50K. All right, great question. So I think it just depends all on how you purchase it. So if you purchase it with hard money or investment loan, well, you shouldn't purchase a rental with hard money first off. But if you purchase it with an investment loan, that is going to be a lot higher down payment up front. That's probably going to be at least 20%. And closing costs. So yeah, it's probably going to be at least 25K at that point for that one. But it depends on sales price. Now, how I like to purchase my rental properties is through creative financing. So like I think the cheapest property I purchased cost me about 8K. The return on that one was insane too, because I on the back end I did seller financing, so I got like a 16K down payment, and I get paid passively per month on that one. So my cash on cash return for that one was like 400 something percent, something crazy. But that's what I did through creative financing versus if I brought a traditional rental property, then I wouldn't have been able to do that. So that's just something.
Can you explain a little bit about what creative financing means? Because that was one of
Yes.
the questions. Too.
Okay. So somebody asked, what is creative financing? What it means. So creative financing, there's really two main things when it comes to creative financing. You have owner financing and you have subject to. These are your most popular ones. So owner financing is when the seller owns a property free and clear, meaning there's no mortgage on it. You will go to them and be like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I want to buy your house. These are the terms that I want for the property. And basically the seller will become the bank in that instance. You'll set the terms for them. You'll set the terms from it, and basically you'll pay them just like they're the bank or just like they're the mortgage lender. So that's owner financing. And then subject to is the one in which I really like, especially because a couple years ago interest rates were just so low. So people were getting in houses like 2-3%, having these super low monthly payments. And why this is beneficial is because cash flow. Like I said, I love my cash flow. So, all right, if I can rent out a property for $2,500, for example, but I can get in the house and with their 2% rate, they have $1,000 monthly payment. Okay, I'm cash flowing $1,500 per month. Like that's a win-win. So subject to is basically, it's almost like an assumption. It isn't like an assumption. It isn't an assumption to be exact, but that's probably the closest explanation I can get that most people will be able to identify with the terms. So you are purchasing the house on terms. So you are going to get the terms that the seller has. So whatever their monthly mortgage is, their PITI, you get that. Their rate, you get that. Whatever the details of their mortgage are. So basically, you'll go in their portal and you'll make their payments for them. And why it benefits the seller is because guess what? Their credit score just keeps on going up. Even though they're not making any payments on the house, you're the one that's making payments. The mortgage is still in their name. And why this is beneficial to you also is because the house is not going to affect your DTI. So DTI is your debt to income ratio. So whenever you try to get approved for something, whether it's a house, whether it's a car, whatever, they're going to check your DTI. And if you have a super high DTI, that's going to affect how much you get approved for. So say for example, let's say I have 5 houses. Well, if I have 4 of those houses that I have subject to, all it's going to reflect on my name when they do the income check and things like that is just one loan, even though I actually have 5 loans. So that's just something to think about. And there's a lot more returns when it comes to it, doing it that way. And your entry fee, so your entry fee is what you pay when you buy a house, is going to be a lot lower than, any of the other ways. Same thing with owner financing.
Okay, cool. What is your take on inbound marketing for new agents? Someone asked.
My take on inbound marketing for new agents, explain that a bit more.
Whoever commented, if you could explain that a little bit more.
Okay. Someone commented up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so as general as what is your take on inbound marketing for new agents? I'm thinking inbound marketing like cold calling or like email marketing, like big
Okay.
email lists.
Door to
Like,
door.
Okay, so cold calling, door knocking, email marketing. I think all that's needed. All of it's needed. I think a lot of people right now, they just want to focus on social media. Excuse me. And getting leads from social media and such. I don't think that's the most beneficial thing. Like I said, it's so oversaturated right now. You got to get back to the basics. Like when I first started, that's what they told me to do was, hey, hop on the phones and make these calls and do all the dirty work that people don't like. Door knock and, go up to people in the grocery store, say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Are you looking to buy or sell a house? It's tedious and it can be kind of embarrassing and it's very nerve wracking, but it works. A lot of people see me for what I do on social media and being able to get leads from social media. But what people don't know is before I was, bringing in leads on social media, I had closed at least 20 houses at that point from just cold calling basically and following up with leads and doing all that stuff. And that was even before I knew about email marketing and any of that. It was just hitting those phones and making those dials.
for somebody who is getting started in like that cold calling, a new agent, that kind of phase, what would be your advice to get over their fear, like the initial fear?
So
how did you get over that hurdle?
So somebody who is just getting started and they are just cold calling and they're nervous about cold calling, the very best thing that you can do is just put the reps in. And also you got to get past that first cuss out or that first no when somebody just goes off on you. A lot of people are scared to get that. and they're paralyzed by that fear, and they don't want to make that call because they're like, okay, what am I gonna do when it happens? But I'm telling you, when it happens to you, because it happened to me very early, it's like, oh, all right, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. Even if somebody cusses you out and says whatever to you, they can't do nothing to you. They're over the phone. Like, who cares, So I think once you go through that, then you'll have a lot more freedom and a lot more flexibility to, continue to make those calls and do what you need to do. But yeah, the best thing that you can do is just do it, really. Don't overthink it, just do.
Mhm. Guys, we've come to the end of our questions list. So type in the comments if you have anything that is like dire remaining
Yeah.
that you want to share with us. Otherwise, Chris, the last question that I have here is if you could provide another life changing habit to implement. So, like for real estate, do you have any life changing habits?
If I could provide another life-changing habit to implement, I talked about waking up early. Um
I'm
uh,
assuming you answered it already, but if you're 16 trying to get into real estate, what would you do?
oh yeah, we
Okay.
did answer
We
that one,
talked
right?
about that already,
Yeah.
yeah.
So another life-changing habit I would say is just really focus on discipline and consistency. A lot of people, they operate just off of motivation. I see it all the time, unfortunately, especially the start of the year. People are like, hey, new year, new me. I'm going to start grinding. I'm going to start doing all the stuff that I'm supposed to do, which is cool until it isn't, until you do all the things in which you think are going to work and they don't work for you. You make all your cold calls, you send out all your emails, you do all your social media posts, and you don't get any results from it. Now you have no motivation because you're like, all right, well, what do I do then? So the best way to counter that is forget the motivation, forget how you're feeling, whether you're feeling good, whether you're feeling bad, forget that. Just do. Just be disciplined, set a schedule for yourself, and be consistent with it. So like anybody who knows me, they know I have a daily schedule and I stick very close to it. I don't really vary too much from it, and regardless of how I'm feeling that day, I'm going to stick by my schedule. So even if I'm out till 2 a.m., all right, well, I gotta get up at 6 a.m. for the gym. Gosh, I don't feel like doing it, but I'm gonna still do it anyways, and that goes on for everything. And once you can build that habit in one part of your life, it's just going to flow into all parts of your life, where it's just going to, things are just going to become easy at that point. You're just not even going to think about things, like, regardless of what's going on in your life, you're just going to do. So I would say it's a big benefit. Somebody's asking
They're just saying
something.
motivation is nothing without works.
Oh yeah,
Not
yeah.
really.
Motivation is nothing without works. That's great. I love that. I love that. If you're 16 trying to get into real estate, what would you do? Sorry, was it? Oh, okay. So I probably should answer it again. Why not? Because they asked. I feel like that is the person who actually asked that question too. So I definitely,
do.
yeah, I'm gonna actually answer that again. So if you're 16 trying to get started in real estate, the number one thing that I would say is get around people who are doing things at a high level. Forget about the money for right now. You're 16 years old. You don't really need any money. Just be honest with you. And if you need some money, then okay, you'll be able to provide value by being around people, and you can do some of their grunt work like finding distressed properties and things like that. So for me, for example, if a 16-year-old came to me, I would be able to put them to work. Like, I mean, you can ask my brother, he just turned 18. But I've been giving him paid opportunities since he was able to move around, do things on his own. um you just got to get around people and just really focus on your upping your knowledge. So I would say focus on that. Commit like at least 3 years really, where you say forget the money. Where I'm gonna just try to learn as much as possible. I'm gonna soak up things. Where I'm gonna be a sponge. And then by the time you're 19, if you from 16 to 19, if you just committed to learning that time, by the time you're 19, you're going to be making 6 figures a year, at least, at the very least. And if you're doing real estate investing, you'll probably be making way over 6 figures a year because you spent that time just learning all the time. But I think so many people, especially younger people, unfortunately, they make the mistake of just comparing themselves, try to keep up with the Jones. And trust me, I know from my little brothers and things like that, like, young people now, like, man, they have Chrome Hearts, Amiris, Rick Owens, all the designers, and they're in high school. I'm like, man, what? Like, back when I was in high school, which wasn't that long ago, but back when I was high school, you had Jordans, you was the one. Like, you didn't really have to do all that. But now it's a lot different. So I know a lot of younger people, they're comparing themselves and they're like, man, I want to be the one wearing that designer stuff. And having all the nice cars and doing all that, bro, just wait. That's what I would say. Just wait and focus on the long game. What is it? The tortoise and the hare. That's what I always go back to. Like a lot of people are the hares in life, where they're just speed out and they burn out. I've seen it so many times, unfortunately. You want to be the tortoise, just go slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, and you're gonna outlast everybody. Because what matters at the end of the day is not about who's doing the most right now, but it's about who's gonna last the longest.
Right. What ways do you recommend learning?
Any ways you recommend learning? So I would say to learn, I'm a big learning buff. I'll say that. For at least 5 years, I've been listening to podcasts nonstop. I probably listen to at least 4 podcasts a day. I read all the time, watch YouTube videos. I'm very, very big advocate of learning. So I would say, podcasts for me at least are one of the best ways to learn. I used to like Audible. I'm kind of getting back into Audible now. But I like physical books because I can like highlight them and be able to reference them. And I feel like I retain information better from physical books. But those are all good ways to learn. Also, different ways to learn is going to like local real estate investing meetups or real estate networking events. Those are good. You can learn a ton of information from other people. So these are all things that you definitely you can implement to learn like right now today.
And how can people connect with you if they weren't in on your live today?
How can people connect with me if they're not in on my live is you guys give me a sub on YouTube at I am Chris A. Williams. You can follow me on all the platforms. It was Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but they hacked my TikTok, so no TikTok anymore. So it's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at I am Chris A. Williams. You can also shoot me an email at the email is chris@iamchrisawilliams.com or admin at iamchrisawilliams.com. Yeah, and all the links are in my bio. Make sure like if you guys check out any of the content that I have, just share it with somebody you think it would be beneficial from it. And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Sweet.
Wow, that's good. And you're there.
All right, in live video. How do I end this?
Yeah, the light's moving. Bottom in stream.
Okay, cool. Sweet.